Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Let's Rap podcast. I'm your host, Philosophical.
And I'm your host, Jay Echo. What's good?
Up, we have a lovely guest again with us, Miss Shatoria. Follow her on IG at Iam_Shatoria. Founder and host of the IamShatoria podcast, life coach, mentor, motivational speaker, author. Just released a book, Authentic Transparency, along with a workbook, Authentic Transparency Workbook. Welcome, Miss Shatoria.
Hello, hello, hello.
What's up?
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap up what you were. The me, I.
The me, I. A lot of us, and I'm speaking towards women in particularly. A lot of times we're very independent. I know I'm still am to a point. However, when me and my husband got married, it was my house. You know, my way. My patience was this long, and you can't live like that. And that's the biggest thing, because I had to learn that we're married. So I got to understand that first of all, I'm sharing my space, and something that me and Phil was talking about with the living together situation. We didn't live together before we got married, and it's something that I would never go back on. I do not regret that decision. Us moving in together was definitely that learning experience. I've been by myself for 27 years, kind of, sort of. So, it's like, I got to share my house, my space, and I had to get out of my house, So the problem that we have, we don't like to share. We feel like because we got it before that person, then that's what it is. It's mine. And that's really something I had to genuinely learn. Like, hey, you moved to come and be with me. This is our space now. Yes, my name was on the deed and the mortgage. However, though, we're not roommates. We're husband and wife. Mm-hmm. And while we're on that, and we can get away from it, but this whole roommate thing, because you got your boo and we roommates because he paying half of the bill. But no, that's not roommate. That's still your man. So,
well, I will add a caveat to that. There is such thing as man caves. But that's that's for another story, I guess. That's for another story. But go ahead. I'm a firm believer. If I'm gonna buy a dream house, I need a man cave.
Oh, that's on site. If there's not room in it for me to, I love all of y'all, leave me alone when I close this door.
Well, when we first got married, so my house was only 1069 square feet, so it wasn't much. Now, the house we have now, I have my space. He has his space.
And it's nothing wrong with that. I want to make this clear. It's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something.
I give my husband mad credit, because one of the biggest things is this, and we talk about all the time. First of all, we do follow each other on Facebook. We don't have a joint account. We're not going to. That's first. Second of all, we don't check out who's adding who.
Good point.
We're not checking out who's adding who. First of all, my husband knows that before we got together, male friends, female friends, same with him. After we got married, male friends, females, same with him. People like, these no new friends. If these new friends are not messing up your marriage, that's not an issue. Because I've gained a whole lot of friends because I'm military and I travel in between the time. Mm-hmm. I also run a business, so I have male clients, male podcast guys that I hang out with. Mm-hmm. There's no checking phones. There's none of that. We're not doing all that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So he has this space, I have mine. There's days I'd be like, babe, I'm going out with the crew. All right, babe, have a good time. See you when you get back.
Yeah, I will say that that takes a lot of trust, because some men have an issue with that. Some women have an issue with that.
Jay was like,
Well, for me, we have a joint account, but you only pay that for the house. This is
we
our
ain't
house.
even got that.
So
11 years and we don't even have that one.
So that's how y'all set it up.
Yeah.
But we were having this conversation a couple weeks ago with someone.
I remember that.
Miss Javi, show coming out. or
Yeah.
came out.
The
So
finances of
but we were having a conversation about like, oh, you what's it called? If I decide that that's what I want to do, it's like you will have your account, I will have my account, and then we will have a joint account that we put money into. You put however much you want into it, but it's what you agree to. As for the rest of it, my money is my money, your money is your money.
Yeah.
Anything that we do is a decision that we make collectively.
It's not an entitlement. A man's bank account is not an entitlement. A woman's bank account is
absolutely.
not an entitlement.
And we do that. So we have a savings account that we actually just started, and I send him money through Cash App every 2 weeks, and he puts it in there. Again, he has his bank account, I have mine. We don't, worry about who has what in there. Now, if I feel like I really need some gas, and he'll be like, babe, I just go put gas in the car. I have a set amount that I have for gas. He has a set amount he has for gas. But there's moments he will, because first of all, he does not, and some women would see it as a control thing. My husband is not feeling me going out at night by myself to put gas in my car for the next day.
That's enough.
He ain't hearing none of that.
And I don't understand that. I've never.
He ain't hearing none of that. I'm like, man, I'm going to do such and such. She's like, no, you're not. No, it's a respect thing. It's a safety thing.
I've never understood where
why we get offended.
If you told someone that, the first thing is going to say is, "Oh, you're a simp." He's a simp.
Yep. And that's not and for me, that's not a simp. That is a man who is protecting his wife. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to go out late to go put gas in my car for work the next day, or if I gotta get on the road or whatever. His thing is about it is, as a man, I can go out here and handle whatever I need to handle, but I'm not about to put you in harm's way just to put gas in the car.
You never know. You never know what could happen. You going out at night.
Yeah, and it goes back to when I do go out at night, I do call or FaceTime my husband, like, babe, I made it. Or when I'm walking to my car to go home, and I am by myself, and we're in the DMV. There's a lot that goes on here. So, I'll be like, hey, babe, I'm on my way to my car, blah, blah, blah. And I will stay on the phone with him and don't play. I'll FaceTime. Don't play. I will FaceTime and walk, and I'll just,
I don't understand. I don't understand where that's just such a downplay.
Well,
where,
you see it on social media now to where that's now a question. Well, why he gotta know where I'm at? What do you mean?
So here's a question for: do you think the this attachment to independence and the me, I like Miss Independent, that whole that mentality, do you think that has to do with the fact that women haven't had the ability to do that for a while, or do you think that's something else?
I think it's both, but something else is also women feeling like something's being taken away from them. When I got married, one of the biggest things I heard was, oh, you ain't gonna better do such no more. Who ain't? I still travel. I'm leaving this weekend for a class reunion. I'm leaving next month for homecoming back at home in Atlanta. I've gone out a lot. I would go on a plane and go.
And my
we forget that. And one thing, here's the thing. I changed my last name. Absolutely. Changed my last name. I haven't changed as far as being who I am and doing what I'm called to do. So me being married and carrying this last name, I'm still Shatoria. Now, don't get me wrong. I changed to better myself with my husband, but I'm still Shatoria. I still earned degrees. I still wrote a book. I'm still out here with a business. And so I'm just doing it with somebody. And he doesn't control what I do in the business. Do I ask for his suggestions? Absolutely. He's my partner. But he doesn't control, and he's quick to tell people, that's her stuff. I'll let her know.
I will add a cap. Marriage and relationships and even dating should not change who you are. It should only, it should.
No.
It should.
But people feel like it does, though. This is why a lot of people don't want to get married, because they feel like, well, if I get married, this and this is going to change. But then we see constantly when you're not married and somebody dies. Let's take DMX, for example. His common law wife, the state of New York, is like, yeah, no, boo. No. And people was like, well, it's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper until that financial part starts to come through. You know what I'm saying? So, and for me, it's not even a piece of paper. Being married is a sense of commitment. Because let's be honest, when you're in a relationship, you can get mad all day and just walk out.
It's easy to quit. Easy to quit.
It's easy to quit. Marriage is not something you can just quit. And the problem that I have with people is a lot of people don't want to get married because they want to find a way out. They don't want to have that tied up commitment and nothing like that. And my problem is if you're not ready to commit, cool beans, but don't string someone else along who is ready to commit. And then as a person that wants to commit, you need to be with someone who wants to commit.
And don't knock somebody down because they are committed.
And my biggest thing is people who are not committed. I look, why you don't want to be committed? And if you don't want to, cool beans, hey, and I'm not even about to sit here and say commitment is not for everybody, because it can be. It's a choice. We choose.
It's a choice, and it's an alignment of how that person is aligned with, in tune with your life, whether right or wrong.
Absolutely. Don't waste anyone's time. Yeah. Me and my husband dated for 5 years. I don't see time limit all the time. I tell people do what they do, but we dated for 5 years, and it got to the point of like, we about to hit these 30s, homie, and what we doing? And so, he popped the question.
You got some people in the late 30s asking questions. Hey, we in the late 30s. We've been together 10 years. What's going on?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to, as a woman, I'm faulting her on that.
Well, we've said on the show, and Jay has said also, if you're dating someone and there has not been talks within the first year, I'll even give you 1.5 to 2 years. If there has not been any talks about marriage, engagement, future, anything, then bounce. You got some,
bounce. I'm with Jay. Let me tell you something.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Because sometimes
we ain't dating with a purpose.
Correct. That's a hard conversation to have.
It's not a hard conversation to have.
I will add some caveat, but the conversation needs to be had between a year and a half, and 2 years.
Absolutely, but it's not a hard conversation to have. It's not a hard. I'm just use Jay for example. Hey, Jay, sweetie, so what's your future plans? And actually, truthfully be told, if we're dating for 1.5 to 2 years, I'm already kind of seeing your future plans, because honestly, we should be comfortable enough to where we're talking about future plans.
I agree.
So
I agree.
It's not a hard conversation, especially if you're using the 3 words, I love you. No, it's not a hard conversation.
I agree with that. But for the being a man, sometimes when you're trying to find your way, when you're trying to find direction, when you're trying to find where can I take this person? Where can I take myself, and where can I take this person? That's a tough conversation to have.
I will disagree with you on that part, Phil, because as you know what my situation is, my home situation, all that type of stuff. You know my situation.
Okay.
It was not hard for me to sit down with my my last partner and be like, hey, I am dating for marriage. I am not here for a one-night stand or anything like that. If we are dating, I am dating because I see this going somewhere. So if you are not down with that, please.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I had that conversation.
But in terms of, if you're not having a conversation between 1 year to 1.5 to 2 years about marriage, you need to bounce. But in terms of, if you're having that conversation and you're not in the right space to marry someone, to even talk about engagement, that's a conversation you need to have, because
that is a harder conversation.
That's my point.
It's not a hard one to start though.
It's a very hard one to start. It's a very hard one to start. It's a very hard one.
I'm gonna say this. I get both points. So let me add this in there. And it's funny that you say what you say, because I saw it on Steve Harvey. Here's the reason why. For women, we look at biological clock and the whole time now.
Correct.
We look at where we at in the whole time now. We ready for marriage.
Correct.
What we don't look at with men is their thought process about marriage. See, they're not looking at biological clock. They're looking at, can I get you a house? Can I pay the bills? Can I do this? That is the problem with men
not
and
only
women.
that, not only that, are you going to keep treating me the way you're treating me when I put a ring on your finger? How are you going to, what changes? Because there are changes. How are you going to, am I going to change? Are you going to force me to change? Are there things to the fact that you don't like about?
But you know what? That goes back to what we doing while we dating. Because let me tell you something. People be like, he changed after we got married. No, he didn't. You just avoided the signs while you was dating. There's a difference. So that's my problem when people say, oh, they changed after we. No, they didn't. It was there the whole entire time. We just, as we talked about in the earlier part of the show, we bypassed some things.
That's why people leave so quick. And I think that's why people tend to want to leave so quickly. They're afraid of like, oh, this person's going to change.
But you know what? That's a problem within themselves. They have to get out of. When you in a relationship and you automatically thinking, well, if he popped the question, he's going to change. Then you got some whole other stuff going on that you got to work on personally that you don't need to bring that relationship. Because I have watched people, like I watched a show called Family or Fiance. And it's a really interesting show. Because
I don't even want to get into
first of all, my biggest pet peeve. I love the show, but it's people in your business and your space. That's first. And second of all, stop giving expectations where they can't be met. You can't even meet them. Like, come on. Like, we as Black people, we do the most.
Yeah.
Like, we do the most. We feel like that they got to be already here. Why we can't work on that together though? Yeah. Why I can't love you while you here? And as a female, I see a lot of us as females. Well, he has to be able to pay all the bills and do all this, but what about you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because in this household, we both paying bills. I don't expect my husband to do because here's how I see it. Life is short. He's gonna leave this earth one day. I need to be able to handle business also. Not just, well, we was married and that's his job. No. We are equal. He is the head, but we are equal. I respect him because he is the head. I respect him because he let me be me. But what I'm not about to do is let him downfall by himself because I have a mentality of that's his job, not mine. Like, no, we don't do the gender-based here in our home. But however, you send that a lot these days to where women is like, well, if he can't do this, this, and this, I don't want to be with him. I just don't think that's fair that we are implementing things way up here. Men have the right to feel what they want to feel about. Let me provide for you. In a way. And she needs to understand if you only making, what we gonna say, 40, 50,000 in a year, baby, we got this though.
So I will say this, and we've said this a lot on the show, and it just seems like it keeps revolving back to this, that in a marriage, I'll even say, not even in a relationship or dating, I'll just say in marriages, we'll say people that are dating, potential relationships, potential marriages. A man's job is to make sure a woman is stable as far as having a home living in, making sure she's taken care of emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. That does not entail, the house has got to be $1 million, and the fact that he's paying for it all. Now, if he wants to pay for it, if he wants to be in a place where like providing and all that, that's cool. That's cool. That's the expectation you and him have set. But as far as this, like, I want to be taken care of, I want a new Tesla, I want a new car every year, I want a new ring upgrade every.
$35K. We ain't doing that.
No, we're talking.
That's actually my dream car. I plan on getting that for myself here soon.
I want it.
Exactly.
That's my dream car.
You're not putting pressure on your husband to go do it, go pay for it. That's pressure.
But I want to add something that you said though, and y'all can correct me. It's cool.
Okay.
But I'm also that female to where it says, what was it, provide the house and everything else. So I take all of that out and just say provide, because I'm not just looking at, can you pay for a bill? Can you give me security though? You know what I'm saying?
It's not a man's job. It's not a man's job to give you a purse every week. That's not.
So when I say provide, I am talking about security, love.
But
and let me tell you why.
People misunderstand security for material things, though. They implement.
Oh, absolutely. So when I say security, I mean protection.
Yeah.
You got my back.
Yeah.
And I say that too, because here's the thing. When we put the word provide, he needed to provide a house, blah, blah, blah. We don't take into account, what if he loses his job? Those things. We don't take that into account. So I don't take those things into account. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm military. So what do? I move.
Yeah.
I have a job. He has to look for one. And so one of the things I had to do with him is I had to encourage him when we moved here, because he went without a job for some weeks. And he went back to a job he really didn't want to, because it was back down to making something he didn't want. But guess what? We got this though. We got it. That was my job. Is to make sure.
And I will.
We got it.
You don't have to answer it or not, but that potentially could have affected your husband's ego, to the fact that he didn't want to go back to a place, to the fact that may have diminished the fact that I got to go back to somewhere, salary I didn't really want to make.
His feelings was hurt.
Exactly.
His feelings was hurt, but guess what though?
It takes the right woman. You didn't tear him down. That part. Yeah, you didn't tear him down. You didn't tear him down. You didn't
take him on dates.
Yeah.
As a woman, and that's just me. We should be taking men on dates.
Oh man.
Why? They shouldn't always have to pull out their wallet. Take them on a date. Oh, yeah. And that's one thing that I do with him. Not just because it's his birthday and nothing like that.
I love a little Chick-fil-A once in a while, a little Chipotle.
Let me tell you something. I don't even doing all that. No, we talking about like DMV, like we going to the harbor, baby. I got you today.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm joking,
at the end of the day, no, you don't have the job, and right now you're not working. But guess what? We're not hurting. And as a female, this is where I go back to, if you walking into a relationship or a marriage and you're like, he has to provide A, B, C, and D, and you're not having, and I don't want to hear the, well, I cleaned, I washed it. No, because if something was to happen to him, let's take the Tyler Perry movie when he got injured and he couldn't do anything. You got to be able to step in your game. Marriage is rich, poor, good health, bad health.
And I will say this, and you brought up a good point, that women have to step up their game. Men look at that. Men look at women as the potential. If something happens to me,
will she have my back?
Will she have my back? And a lot of times women will say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
It's our words will kill a relationship.
Yeah.
So that kill a relationship.
That leads into our segment called Wrap It Up. So did you have any other questions, Jay?
I did have some.
Go ahead.
Topic. So I can hold off on them. Yeah, I can hold off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a segment called the Wrap Up. We're gonna wrap it up with Mr. Shatoria. It's our segment where 3 to 5 minutes. You have the floor, Miss Shatoria.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So look, I am Shatoria. We are here to empower, love, embrace every type of walk in life. And one of the biggest things that you see behind me, it says, I am Shatoria, forgiveness to freedom. And so as we're talking about today, relationships and everything, in order to completely be free and to be able to walk in love, be with people, understand people, you have to be free from all of that. And it starts off seriously with true forgiveness, not just I forgive them, we cool. Nah, you really got to forgive them, because then that's when grace starts to flow through. One of the biggest things that I still to this day, I take to heart, I love, and I honor is that I'm easily to forgive, as they were saying earlier, women easy to forgive. However, though, I do understand the freedom that comes with that. And I also know the walk that comes with that. It is not easy by any chance. However, though, it is absolutely worth it at the end of the day. It's going to take time, but it's worth it. So take the time to evaluate your life. Take the time to evaluate your hurt. Take the time to evaluate you so you can be better for the next person. If it's, family members, your boo, your kids. Evaluate where you're at. And I guarantee you, when you start to evaluate all those things will start to lighten up a little easier for yourself. So that is my take for you guys today.
I really appreciate it. Really appreciate Miss Shatoria for being here, taking her time out. Again, her socials, her book will be down in the description everywhere. You guys make sure pick up a book. We have copies of it. Amazing book. I haven't got the workbook yet. Make sure you guys pay attention to her Motivation Mondays. She always has something going on. I'm specifically on there, always listening to it. And
tools for the people every Monday.
Yeah, ours is Friday. We have something called Freedom Fridays. You guys have I've been doing it for about a couple of weeks now. You guys have been really liking that. Echo Chamber has been doing really well. I appreciate you guys kind of paying attention to that. That's more episodes coming. You know how it is with Jay.
Yeah. I got well, I'll say the next topic I plan on tackling, it was more what's it called? It was more image, identity, self-improvement stuff.
Yeah.
Next, I guess the next run I plan on going on is a little less mindset and a little more putting like what steps and practices am I trying to put into place to make sure I maintain momentum on the journey I'm on. So that's what
there you go.
The next couple things are going to be. So look forward to that.
So we really appreciate everyone that's been following us. Make sure you guys like and subscribe the video. Make sure you guys take a look also at Miss Shatoria's podcast. It's IamShatoria podcast. Her IG is Iam_Shatoria. Life coach, mentor, motivational speaker, author. Make sure you guys check out our book, No Excuses. It's on Amazon. That will also be in the description. Follow us at Twitter at Let's Rap 2, Instagram, Let's Rap _, and YouTube, of course, Let's Rap. Again, Miss Shatoria, really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you for coming on. Thank you
for coming on. And you guys, thank you for having us. And another episode wrapped up. I'm your host, Philosophical.
I'm your host, Jay Echo.
Peace.
Take it easy.